absolutely phenomenal. Just great seeing some history. Finally got out of the way. I was a little worried there, Mr. Barber. But now we sit back, and wouldn't stun me if he drills number 62 early on Friday, because I think a heavy weight has been lifted. But aside from that, and the theater and Patty Judge and Roger Maris Jr. and all the, just the amazingness of last night that everybody enjoyed. I got to tell you, I think that this is the moment that baseball has been waiting for. And it has nothing to do with Judge, although it does indirectly. This is baseball's chance to make it right. This is baseball's chance to finally fix something that Bud Selig never had a clue, or quite frankly, the stones to touch, because he was complicit as well during the whole PED. We all were, to be fair. And Rob Manfred hasn't really shown the instincts, and he's butchered too many things historically left and right. But this is, when you throw at a kid batting practice and you throw that little lob and he finally connects that big beach ball where your eyes light up like saucers. This is what baseball is staring at. This is a chance to finally delineate between what is right, what is authentic, and what is not.
Obviously,
blow up the record book.
Obviously, talking about the home run record, which was 73, set by Barry Bonds back in 2001. I couldn't disagree more, and I'll tell you why. The reason that I became a baseball fan was because of that home run race. I mean, my background. I grew up in Southwest Virginia. There was no baseball team. I liked the Braves because the Braves were on TV all the time. I didn't play the game past.
You better not like the 14. Braves this weekend. Met fans aren't going to like you.
I'm actually going.
You are going
now. Friday. Yeah, because I think the game is the weather is moved out.
Nice.
So I grew up a Braves fan. Came to New York and didn't really have a tie to the Yankees or the Mets. I think the Mets had me out after the Super Bowl to throw out a first pitch. And I was like, City's cool.
Four-hopper.
Yeah, exactly. Yankee Stadium's cool. It's awesome, the history. But I wasn't really tied to it.
Okay.
And then 2001 happened, interestingly, the same year that after we went to the Super Bowl. And this chase for the home run record was like everywhere. Right. And you couldn't not watch it, not dissimilar to us not being able to look away from Aaron Judge's pursuit of 61. It's on everywhere. Like they're popping into games, they're popping into college football games, they're popping into news broadcasts. Like this was happening every single moment that I remember back in 2001. And it made me appreciate how hard it was to do what Barry Bonds was doing, and so Sam McGuire as well, but really Barry Bonds, because he was the forefront of it. And I understand that it's tainted, but I also know that baseball was complicit in this, Bud Selig was complicit in this, every general manager, team doctor, Skip, teammates, everybody was complicit in this. And so I can't just dismiss what I saw. I can't dismiss the emotion of that moment and the fact that Barry Bonds won back-to-back MVPs after that season. And a lot of it was because he hit 73 home runs. But the following seasons, he had 48 and 45, but he walked 120 times. Like it was things that wasn't all around this Herculean, juiced up slugger.
But it was also things he never remotely did in Pittsburgh before he juiced.
I know.
Not even close.
I mean, he walked 127 times.
Look at his numbers from the Pirates. He was a really amazing all-around player. He became a superhero.
I know that as a home run hitter, but he also did everything else well. Like, he walked. Like, he's like Aaron Judge. He's not. If you're not giving him the pitch to hit and it's outside the zone, he's not swinging at it.
No, I get that.
Right?
Except that he's not clean.
I understand that he's not clean, but how many people were?
Well,
and then not only that, how many people were non-complicit in it?
I get it. I'm not saying this is an easy thing to solve. Yeah. I'm not. I understand. The one thing that I would volley back to you, because you talk about, what kind of sucked you into the game. And I remember, I've said this on the air before, I remember sitting in the old Meadowlands parking lot, and the Jets I forget who the Jets were playing, but it was a summer night, and the Mets were playing the Cardinals, right?
Okay.
And this is when I had season tickets for the Jets. And we're throwing the ball around, we're having a beer, getting ready to go in and watch the Jets, probably lose. Although, actually, we were good then. That was Parcells. and we are fixated on the radio, which back then it was on the fan. We're listening to Mets Cardinals, and it was a doubleheader, and McGuire hit a couple of home runs, right? And we were captivated. Yankee fans, Met fans, devout baseball fans, lukewarm baseball fans. I understand that, Teague. It was like a drug.
Yeah, it was.
It took over the news cycle, as you correctly stated before. Now, but what you said about that, like, so that sucked you in. Nobody is asking or saying that we're going to now delete those memories from your mental database. No, we still have that. We still saw it. I was sitting in Myrtle Beach when McGuire hit that line drive. I think it was off Steve Traxel. I told you. We were playing 36.
Yeah.
We had a little low. We got something to eat before we went back out. And there was 20 of us. And we were so pumped. The timing, we weren't on our phones. Like, it was serendipitous. We walked in. Oh, yo, McGuire's coming up. Boom, saw the home run. I understand it. But this is the chance to at least delineate and provide the proper context of the game that we care the most about with the record book. Nobody's out there. LeBron's gonna eclipse Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the all-time scorer coming up this year if he stays healthy in the NBA. Nobody sits there and says, well, I don't know, so-and-so had a foot on the line, but they didn't have instant replay. Maybe you should tack on 2 or 3 more points to so-and-so's final tally, because we don't care about that. We care about the baseball record book. We are mentally and emotionally so engaged in this, and you have a little separate file. We're not saying that you delete Bonds from the face of the earth, or McGuire or Sosa. But I believe, now, by the way, I don't think they've got the guts to do this. I should have probably said that from the start. I did say this is a chance for baseball to make a very wrong a right. I don't have any faith that they will. If it was my sport, I would.
What would they do? Like, what do you envision Major League Baseball doing? Just always now talking about Aaron Judge when he's got 7 games to hit one more to eclipse the Maris American League record, and then so what do they do?
And if he doesn't hit any more, then he's tied with Maris. He's number 1.
So what do they say? Like, what do they now start doing?
They acknowledge that this was a very dark period, much like we have with some other aspects of baseball, scandalous. The Black Sox and all that stuff. They acknowledge, stop running from it. That's the biggest problem. Like, they run from it. So I'm watching, I thought it was really good, the K-Rod cast on Sunday night. I watched most of the game, but then I flipped over. I wanted to hear Bonds, right? And Bonds, Clemens, and A-Rod. I mean, think about this, guys. We're watching 3 of the greatest players, undeniably. Clemens has 7 Cy Youngs. A-Rod's got a closet full of MVPs. Bonds has a ton of, we know the numbers, right?
Yeah.
7 MVPs, right? So we're sitting there and we're listening to these guys talk about our most cherished, in large part, because it goes back the most, cherished sport. But yet, not one of these dudes is in the Hall of Fame. And, it's just so inconsistent. And we dance around it. Well, it was it. Not everybody wasn't doing it. And that's the point. Aaron Judge is not doing it. Aaron Judge needs to be, along with Maris until he surpasses him, needs to be recognized as the preeminent single-season home run hitter of all time. Of all time. That's it. 877-337-6666. That's it. We're changing history today, Barber. We're on a crusade.
It's not happening. I'm telling you. They're going to they're going to keep it up there because you're right. Right? They can't.
Well, it's the hard thing to do. To do nothing is the easy thing.
Yeah.
That's what baseball usually does.
But can you imagine?
Nothing.
Can you imagine that actual press conference?
I would love it. I would be there for it.
Can you imagine how awkward that would be?
Awkward for whom?
For Major League Baseball.
Why?
Because they're going to have to acknowledge their complicity in it.
Like there's people who still don't, well, no, they don't acknowledge their complicity. They get separation. That's something you kind of gloss over. PR 101.
Okay.
I don't know if they're up there and they say, hey, by the way, back then we ignored. No, I don't know that you do that.
And if there's a good journalist,
that's true.
They'll say, but you knew this was going on.
But they can't prove that they knew it. They can't prove.
I remember vividly
that they knew it.
The bottle of Andro on top of McGuire's locker.
And the St. Louis Dispatch writer had that, and he got crucified for it. And I thought it was the only one who actually had a sense of journalism back then.
That's right.
He basically got run out of the sport. I think. I don't know if he did, but
you guys, you in Major League, you see and read everything. I know you read that article because every baseball fan remembers that article.
But Andrew wasn't illegal.
Yeah.
And you can say neither was steroids on some level, but you were taking Metarex in college. I was taking creatine in college. What's the damn difference? And here's the thing. Yes, if it's framed properly by the commissioner and there isn't any really invasive, uneasy questions, then they just skate free and everybody wins. If there are good questions, here's what you do. You take it on the chin. This is PR 101.
That's hard.
And, no, it's not. I'll tell you why. Because you come out stronger and more unified on the back end. You get a little bloody there. You take your hits. Now, the problem is Manfred is not good at that. He's the same guy who called the World Series trophy a piece of tin.
That's right.
Who was woefully inept in terms of handing out punishment for what the Astros did digitally with the scandal. They should hire me to stand up there. I mean, because if he stands up there, it might make it worse. But the premise, at least for me, this is the pivotal moment. Finally, stop everything, acknowledge it, and move forward. We know what happened. Acknowledge it. Make it right. 877-337-6666. All right. Mike is in Bayonne on the Fan. What's happening, Mike? How are you today?
Hey, good. What's going on, guys?
No,
hey,
Mike.
Brandon, just hear me out for a minute, guys. Brandon,
Okay.
I can't disagree with you any more than I can right now.
Let's hear it, buddy.
I'm in my 40s, so I witnessed the whole, steroid era,
Me too.
McGuire, Sosa. If you're sitting there and you're telling me that Major League Baseball, the media, and the fans had no idea what these players were doing, I mean, you got to be naive.
No, I never once said that.
Especially Major League Baseball.
No, Mike, I didn't say that, Mike. And I'll let you speak, but I didn't. I said the exact opposite. Both Tiki and I agree, and we've agreed for a long time, that Major League Baseball was complicit in this.
Okay, all right.
Go ahead.
You did say that, but I knew this argument was going to come up once a judge tied the record or broke the record.
Okay.
Barry Bonds is the home run king. It doesn't matter if he took steroids. It doesn't matter.
What doesn't matter to you?
Steroids. Why is it such a big deal? Everybody knew what was going on. It put fans in the seats. People made billions of dollars off of it.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're going to go back and we're going to try to rewrite the record book?
No.
Because we're offended or we're upset that people,
trust me, dude. I am not offended
cheated?
I'm not one of those people who's offended by that. It has nothing to do with being offended. It's just about trying to provide proper context. And if you don't see it that way, I respect that.
I understand that. But Joe Beningo has said this in the past. Who gives a damn about the steroid era? These guys did
I
what
do.
they did. Just because you take steroids or PEDs doesn't make you hit a baseball.
Trust me, dude.
You still got to go
I
out there
get
and
that.
you got to perform.
Mike, I know that. I know that. So you have no issue with this. You think?
I have
let
no
me ask you this,
issue
Mike.
whatsoever.
Let me ask you, Mike. And I respect your answer. You think that Barry Bonds or Big Mac or Sosa, but Sammy Sosa had 66 home runs. Hey, think about this. You think that they achieved this or that with the same level of authenticity that Aaron Judge has? Yes or no?
Know. I would say no.
Okay.
But, Brandon, in today's day and age, there's people taking PEDs. There's ways to get around the system. We all know this.
I hear you on
we
that.
Don't know who's taking,
I got
we
you.
don't know who's taking.
Hey,
we don't know
Mike,
who's taking what.
Tatis,
I'm not saying that
Tatis is
Judge
on
is
80
taking
days.
anything.
Tatis is on 80 days right now, right?
Yes.
He's taking Tatis.
I hear you.
He didn't look like he was a steroid hit.
First call disagreeing. I didn't really know, and I don't know where we'll go from that, but that's fine. You know how we see it, and actually, Tiki and I see it a little differently. So the last call, there's more in alignment with Tiki on that. Now, this is a chance to reestablish what should have been established a long time ago. That these guys, while they were amazing players, and listen, man, I'm no priest here. I'm not trying to preach. I mean, I've said many times, if I could have taken steroids to make the major leagues or made $50 million, I would have taken them. It's not me like being disingenuous with you. But Aaron Judge has done it the right way. And when you do it the right way, I think it should be acknowledged. That's all. 877-337-6666.